It's all
right.
yours.
So welcome everyone to today's Fortuna Noon Zoom Chamber meeting. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Mike Lousy, who's going to lead us in today's pledge. Lousy, sorry.
Thank you. Please join me. I pledge allegiance
To the
United States of America,
America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Do we have any new members or guests that would like to introduce themselves at this time? No. Okay, so Tobin.
I'm a guest, so hi, my name's Tobin. I'm here representing Cooperation Humboldt.
Perfect. Thank you, Tobin, and welcome to today's meeting. We'll get to learn a lot more about you and your role here in a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and go over the chamber announcements today. So if I butcher or mutilate them, please bear with me. We have the Fortuna Chamber dinner and raffle fundraisers coming up just April 9th. So it's right around the corner. It'll be a drive-through event at the River Lodge from 4:30 to 7:30 is the time for next Friday. We have lots of great raffle prizes. They're all posted on the Fortuna Chamber website. I have tickets here for the raffle tickets as well as dinner tickets. The dinner tickets do feed a family. I think we set up to 4. It'll be a plate of lasagna, your choice, whether it's pesto, vegetarian, or traditional, as well as breadsticks, an antipasto pasta, salad, breadsticks, 4 cupcakes, the sheet of lasagna, as well as drinks for donation to be added to that. We'll be selling raffle tickets at that time too. I have tickets here at Umpqua Bank for the raffle and the dinner tickets, as well as I believe Co-Central, the Chamber, of course, and the Chamber website. So I urge you, please, this is our big fundraiser of the year that we're partnering with the skate park. If you haven't already bought tickets, please reach out to one of us and do so to show your support. We greatly appreciate it. There's lots of great prizes. We have a Benbow Inn stay and golf package. Redwood Capitals donating another lovely basket again this year. So thank you for that. I think we're gonna have a chest freezer with 50 pounds of meat, 27 skateboards, and the list goes on and on. Some fire and light I'm hearing. So some really great prizes. This Friday, Bear River will be celebrating their grand reopening of the Thirsty Bear Lounge with a ribbon cutting at 4 o'clock. The chamber will be there to celebrate. Urge you to come out and support local business. IRS has announced that the tax day for individuals is now going to be May 17th for those that do not know. And let's see, what else do we have? According to the state, vaccines will be available for 50 and older beginning on April 1st, with 16 and older beginning on April 15th is the latest update. Next week, oh, go ahead, question?
Go ahead. I was just coughing. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm the one supposed to be coughing.
I'm sorry.
According to, oh wait, where are we at? Fire department. So next week, the fire department is going to be hosting a CPR and AED training, which is, okay, Renee, you got to chime in here. Automatic
external defibrillator.
Okay, from 6 to 9. So if you want more information on any of those trainings or that training specifically, to reach out to the fire department to set that up. Let's see how.
And then just one thing I forgot to give you. Next Monday, our featured speakers are from Johnson Wealth Management. That is going to be Brandon Stockman and David Johnson. So they're going to talk about estate planning and financial planning and certain things, to be wary of, that, some of these get rich quick schemes that you may get emailed on, and how to be responsible with your money. So that should be a really good presentation. So that's next Monday at noon.
Perfect. Thanks, Renee. And so at this time, do we have any announcements from any members today? Come on, Becky.
I do. I always do. Just a shout out. Cattlemen and Cattle Women had a wonderful, successful drive-through on Saturday. We served over 600 dinners. It was a wonderful steak dinner, and we just want to thank the community for being so generous, and had a great raffle. you couldn't drive through without being approached by these cute kids. So, and that's the raffle money was going to the scholarship for kids. Egg, and we had an auction, and that was very. We just want to thank the community. We couldn't have our annual spring next year, but anyway, it was great, and it was a beautiful day, so that really helped, bring out the crowd. So thank you all.
Thank you, Becky. Any other announcements from members today?
I have a question. Is it too late to get a donation in for the raffle and the skate park fundraiser?
No, we will gladly take donations.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
I have a 2-night stay at my house in Rio Del with a hot tub coming your way.
Woo!
Okay.
Okay, that's great. Love
I'll
it.
book it for
Thank
tonight.
you. Yeah.
No, me.
Thank you, Samantha.
You're welcome.
Any other announcements? All right. Then at this time, I'll go ahead and turn it over to our featured speaker, Tobin McKee, the Program Administrator for Cooperation Humboldt. It's all yours.
Everybody,
Tobin.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Kelly. Happy to be here. There's a couple of reasons why we wanted to reach out to y'all today. Primarily because one of the programs that we run is called Worker Owned Humboldt. And that's a project that we created here at Cooperation Humboldt and then migrated over to the North Coast Small Business Development Center as their cooperative business development branch for the Small Business Development Center. So now the entire program lives over there and is run through the SBDC. And if in case you're not familiar with what a worker-owned cooperative is and why a worker-owned cooperative would be a good thing, I just like to share a few things about that. I think many of us are familiar with the benefits of worker ownership, just that they benefit the local economy, they benefit the workers, and they change the dynamic of the workplace. And I think that's probably one of the more important things, particularly during economic downturn. And actually, we really increased our activity on this program during the COVID lockdown because we, obviously everybody could predict that it was going to be hard on business and continue to be hard on business. And one of the statistics that's coming out of the current research on worker-owned cooperatives is that they're just measurably more resilient during economic downturns. So you can see that in 2008 in the studies that were done of the worker-owned cooperatives then, and you can see that now in the worker-owned cooperatives that are operating now. And there's a couple of reasons why worker co-ops and worker-owned businesses are more resilient. One is that a sole proprietor or a corporate employer, when profits start to go down and you have to cut expenses and you get to that point where you're cutting, you have to cut back on hours, then one of the things that the choices that you have to make is, do you decrease somebody's hours, or do you actually have to lay off a worker? And it's not usually the most popular option for an employer to lower salaries. It doesn't come across well, and workers don't like it. And so you're left with cutting hours or laying off employees. And in a worker co-op, one of the phenomena that you see is that workers actually elect to lower their own salaries during recession because they understand that this business staying alive and keeping that business alive is more important in the long run than their personal gains in the short run. So they end up making the different kinds of decisions during recessions. Other things that worker co-ops do is, if you've a larger co-op with multiple plants or multiple places of operation, one aspect of the business that's suffering can receive support from another aspect of the business. So there's cross-pollination among sectors and among cooperatives. And the last piece is just that when people own the business, as all of us here probably, I'm guessing, have been business owners or are business owners, you'll just do anything to keep your business alive and to have it do well. And so the more people who are thinking that, the better the business does. And oftentimes networking decisions and really drawing upon the expertise of the people who know their jobs best turns into better models for business. The one worker-owned cooperative that we have here in Humboldt County right now is Restive Cleaning Cooperative. And you probably have all heard of them. And their wages are higher than the standard wages for cleaning businesses. And then at the end of each quarter, when they get their dividends, that oftentimes will double their wages on a good quarter. So they're just doing better because the profits are distributed to all the owners instead of coagulating at in a high employer to employee ratio. So most worker co-ops commit to somewhere between a 5 to 1 at the maximum pay wage gap, so that the highest paid person is only earning 5 times more than the lowest paid person. Whereas in corporate America right now, that's actually more like over 300 to 1. Now, small businesses with caring and compassionate owners aren't doing that to their employees, but it is a possibility that exists and is happening worldwide. Is that the surpluses are going to the owners far more than they're going to the workers, and so worker co-ops stand in opposition to that trend. While being very successful business. The other thing that I like to say about worker co-ops is that other than the financial and governance structure, it's the same as every other business, and it is regulated by the same rules and market of every standard business. So when we incubate a worker co-op, we are looking at through the same eyes as any small business development counselor or any small business advisor. And that is to say that it's got to be profitable, that the people who are in charge have to know what they're doing. It's got to, look good on paper and have a strong business plan, have gone through their feasibility study and things like that. So it's got to be a good business, regardless of whether or not it has this cooperative structure or not. And then, the other side of worker cooperatives is that and this is what we're really looking at the SBDC pretty strongly, is what we're calling the silver tsunami. And I don't know if you're familiar with that term or not. It's a term that's floating around right now as a lot of business owners are entering into retirement age. So there's a growing number of businesses that are either going to sell to an existing, a new owner, or they're going to close up shop. And when owners who are reaching retirement age are thinking about what they want to do with their business, there's some things that have come up pretty strongly as trends. And one is that they don't want to see their business go because they've poured their life into it. 2, they know that it's good for their community. And 3, they don't want their employees to lose their jobs or transfer that business over to an owner that they that may lose the spirit and the legacy of that business under new ownership. And so when presented with the possibility of selling their business to their employees, a lot of owners are increasingly interested in that as an option. It preserves the integrity and the legacy of the business and the spirit of the work that's already been done. It keeps people's jobs, and it keeps the money local and prevents external corporate buyouts and things like that. So it's a great way for businesses to transfer ownership over to their employees. And at SBDC, we have a partnership with an organization called Project Equity, which provides comprehensive feasibility studies for businesses in conversion to worker cooperatives. That's a fantastic value added benefit to running your cooperative conversion through the Small Business Development Center. So all of the counseling is no cost through the Small Business Development Center, all of the worker cooperative counseling and every bit of counseling at the SBDC. And when you do cooperative conversion at the SBDC, then you get to also work with Project Equity to facilitate the detailed financial study, to look at that business and say, is this a good business? Is it viable for worker ownership? And if it's not, they'll tell you, which just saves people a lot of time and grief. So we're working with several cooperatives in conversion right now in cooperation with the Small Business Development Center. I can't say who because there's confidentiality on there, but there are some local businesses and some large local businesses that are in conversion right now. And then there are a number of small startups. And the last thing I'll say is just a little bit Fortuna specific, and that is that one of the advantages of a worker cooperative, and actually this is just an advantage of an LLC. It's not actually specific to a worker cooperative, but one of the advantages of an LLC that can be cooperatively organized is that non-resident immigrants can still be business owners. And so if folks are interested in maintaining and providing employment opportunities that are legal for non-resident workers, conversion or the development of worker co-ops is a fantastic option. And in agricultural cooperatives in particular, and Latinx-led agricultural cooperatives are the strongest and most productive worker co-op sector in the United States right now. And it's a model that has proven again and again to support agribusiness in general. And it doesn't have to be Latinx at all. I'm just saying that that's the group of people who's doing the best work in worker cooperatives right now. But farming cooperatives and agricultural cooperatives in general are a great way of consolidating resources, of sharing equipment, of sharing distribution and production at all levels. And so a cooperative can be something as simple as your typical mom and pop business. It can be a standard corporate organization with a board of directors and things like that. And then agricultural cooperatives, as in a cooperative of farmers. So just to be clear, you're an independent business owner, you're a farmer, but you're also part of an agricultural cooperative for resource sharing and market sharing. And so that reduces overhead and keeps the money in the local economy. I was going to do a PowerPoint, but I think I'm just going to leave it at that and open the floor up for questions and comments.
I think you kind of answered the two questions that I had hastily written down while you were talking, which was one, would it be a good option for people who are retiring? And obviously, yes, that does seem to be a good option. I know COVID had, really threw a wrench in a lot of folks's plans for their businesses and if they're struggling. But I guess the one question, so through Project Equity, they get the feasibility study, which I guess the owner would initiate, correct?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, and so then at that point, yeah, this is a great idea. How then do the employees raise the capital necessary to, like, let's assume the owner eventually wants to, the silver tsunami and sail away into retirement. How do the employees come up with the money that might be needed to purchase a business that's, several $100,000?
Yeah. So obviously, especially when you're talking about employees that are earning minimum wage or some low wage employees, they're not necessarily going to have a big chunk of money to put into buying a business. And so Project Equity and a number of national level organizations are working with lenders who have special lending instruments designed just for worker ownership. And so they're low collateral, no collateral, low interest And oftentimes those loans are also set up so that they're repay only when the business starts earning a profit after the transition. The other thing about it is that you have a great deal of flexibility in how you structure your worker cooperative. And so many owners will let their employees work off their payment through time. So instead of taking a lump sum at the beginning for the sale of their business, it's actually written into the bylaws that the profits, that a portion of the profits are going to continue to go to the previous owners until that debt is paid off. And we also work with U.S. Federation of Worker Cooperatives, which is another national organization that provides access to funds and capital and legal assistance for the transition. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can do it completely free through SBDC and Project Equity for the feasibility study. Larger organizations like to hire Project Equity for the whole transition, which I think is a great option. It just costs money, so smaller businesses are usually out of the loop. But you can continue to work with Worker-Owned Humboldt, SBDC, and the U.S. Federation of Worker Co-ops to plan and gain access. And what we do is walk businesses through that process for as long as it takes. You're talking 6 to 18 months usually for a transition. And so we set up that timeline and figure that out with each business individually as you go forward. And I dropped the link here into the chat for the worker-owned program at the SBDC. Any other thoughts?
When does that program start, Tobin? Is it April 7th?
Yeah, if you if you want to learn more about worker co-ops, you can attend the academy. We just missed the introduction to worker co-ops on the 23rd, but that's not very different from what I'm doing here. If you want to attend the academy, or you know of business owners interested in transition who might benefit from this, send them to the academy. It's 6 90-minute webinars, and it's really intended for business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs who have a genuine interest and curiosity and want to spend 6 sessions learning about worker co-ops. And there you get connected with all of the resources you need to have a clear understanding of how to proceed forward using the support that we provide. And
those webinars are free?
The webinars are $60, and there is an SBDC CBDG block grant scholarship available for, I don't know if I got that acronym right. I saw Kelly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Community development block grants. Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Yeah, there is funding through there for lower income participants as well.
Awesome,
Hey,
great.
Tobin. Is there a minimum number of employees who want to become owners? Is there a minimum for a business to be able to?
Well, for any cooperative, oh, hi, Denise. I didn't see you down there. For any cooperative, you need to have at least 3 owners in the very simplest model. Otherwise, it's just a partnership, which is fine, and you can cooperate as partners. But as soon as you move to 3 owners, then you're in the realm of cooperative. And in terms of, so that's it. If you have a business model, we have a dog walking cooperative that's working on getting started. It's a great idea. It's folks who already walk dogs, and then they're going to make their business bigger and better. And they have 3 partners, and then they can grow from there. Then when you're going larger scale, there is a pre-feasibility study that Project Equity is going to take businesses through if they're interested in conversion. So we saw one business that is a great local business, has been around for a really long time, and has 1 full-time employee, 2 part-time employees. Everybody's worked there for more than 20 years. We want to see it alive and thrive, and they earned about $25,000 a year. And it's just not, as far as the pre-filter for the Project Equity feasibility study, they're like, it's not worth our effort to support that kind of business, which is really sad because we want to, there's nothing wrong with the business. It's been running that way for more than 20 years. But it's not at the level that that Project Equity would like to work with them. We're happy to work with smaller businesses at a smaller scale. Again, if it's going to show up to be something that's feasible in the long run.
So are you guys working directly with owners, or are you funneling them to SBDC? Or are you kind of the liaison between?
We are SBDC, actually, so there's no in between. All the worker-owned Humboldt counselors are SBDC advisors. And so when you enter into the program, you're going directly through SBDC and becoming a client of SBDC. And then we contract separately with Project Equity, also through SBDC. So everything lands at SBDC.
And as far as the Latinx group, do folks know, I'm sure you guys are all over this, I mean, with like literature, how are they outreach to these possibilities, or how do you connect with them?
Actually, we have a grant right now in the pipeline through workforce development, a big collaboration at CR, Humboldt Workforce Development, Mayor Susan Seaman, and others to do a community outreach for the tribes and for the Latinx community to develop their own advisors, actually. So we've got a program where we want to have an advisor from the Wiyot tribe, from the Yurok tribe, from the Hupa tribe, and a representative of the northern branch of the Latinx community and y'all down there, because those folks, rather than having us come on and be the advisors, we really see the benefit of having people from those communities train as advisors. So the program at CR, if it gets funded, which we're pretty optimistic that it will, is a business development advisor program through CR Workforce that we're really looking forward to. In the meantime, it's people like you who will help us do the outreach.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions for Tobin?
Thanks, y'all. I'm putting my email in the chat, and feel free to email me with thoughts, questions moving forward, or go to SBDC for more information.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, definitely keep myself, in the loop on things as they come about, like your grant program with CR and any outreach to the Latino, the BIPOC communities, because it'd be great for us to get that information out to our little town in Fortuna. And
yeah, and if you run into businesses who are, folks who are retiring, it's just a fantastic option and something that we'd love to help you with. All right.
Thank you, Tobin.
Have a great rest of your meeting.
That's a wrap. And so Renee, next Monday is
Johnson Wealth Management.
perfect. Okay, so I hope to see you all then, and everybody have a really wonderful rest of your day.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good week, all.
Bye.